everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to love, a time to leave. Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to rise, a time to
Hello? Yes, Bernard. It's arrived, has it? I'll be right down as soon as I've had some breakfast. It's arrived, David.
What?
You'll see.
You need to see a doctor about that.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Everything to your satisfaction, Mrs. Langley?
Yes, thank you. Although I did ask for brown toast, actually.
Well, in that case, please allow me to organise some.
No, it's of no consequence. I've managed. But if you could ask your girl to remember tomorrow.
Right.
Hello, darling. And how are our pheasants?
Like sitting ducks, my sweet. Like sitting ducks. Oh, dear me.
Yes, Mr. Langley.
That coffee is stone cold.
I'll have some fresh sent through.
And I should think so, at these prices. Ah.
All right. What's all this then?
Well, if you really want to know, it's Mrs. Ventress's idea.
Well, it doesn't sound like the Mrs. V I know.
Well, it's all part of her plan.
What plan?
Help me give up smoking.
Oh, no. Not again.
Well, her view being that if God wanted us to smoke, he'd have given us chimneys.
Only you remember what happened last time you tried to give up, don't you? You practically walked around with a swastika on your arm.
The point is, she's got this get fit fad going at the moment. Well, I draw the line somewhere. So instead, I've agreed to give up fags.
I'm ending tears, Alf.
Bellamy! Bellamy, those files!
Tears, Alf.
All right, walking my dog to death. Somebody shot him. And I want you to do something about it, because if you don't, I will.
Where did this incident take place, Mr. Arkwright?
Up at Ashfordley's estate.
And this man you claimed shot your dog. Presumably it wasn't Lord Ashley.
Hardly. He loves dogs.
Are you quite sure it wasn't the gamekeeper?
Well, he didn't look like no gamekeeper. And he tried to run me down and all.
Did you get the number of the vehicle?
Ah, I did.
All right, leave it with me, Mr. Arkwright. I'll make a few inquiries. Oh, and let's have no more talk of doing something about it yourself. All right?
What is it? It's what's known in military circles as a half-track, David. Capable of negotiating the most inhospitable of terrains.
And you've bought it?
Well, I haven't actually paid for it yet. First things first, eh?
Well, what do we want with one of them?
Patience, David. All will be revealed. But first, a little word with my brother. Bradley, you looking for me?
Well, if you happen to be the owner of this vehicle, my lord.
Not guilty of that one, I'm afraid. The property of one Oliver Langley. He and his wife are staying here for a few days. Why? Been some sort of traffic incident, has it?
A shooting incident, my lord, on your land.
Good Lord, really? You'd better come in.
This is Mr. Langley. He's a friend of yours, is he then?
They're staying here as paying guests, actually.
Oh, I see.
Now, the land where the incident took place is my pheasant release pen. Langley's booked my shoot for the season.
Oh, yes.
They're bringing a lot of chaps down from London for it, too. You know, business acquaintances. He's keen to impress, that sort of thing. And they'll all be staying here as well. What on earth could he have been thinking about, though, shooting a dog like that?
Perhaps I should ask him, my lord.
Who were you thinking of invading? Abyssinia?
Oh, very comical, Bernard, I'm sure.
What possible use could you have for half a Churchill tank?
Answer me one question, Bernard. What has Yorkshire got that no one else has?
Yorkshire pudding.
Unrivaled scenic beauty. The only trouble is you can't get to half of it, not without tramping for miles. But with this little beauty, it can take you there, problem solved.
On about taking tourists round in this thing.
There you go again. Pouring cold water on my brilliant ideas.
Vernon, your brilliant ideas shouldn't just have cold water poured on them. Most of them should be drowned at birth. In fact, to be brutally frank, I've never heard such a daft idea in my life. And while you're at it, move this thing before someone thinks the Russians have landed.
There goes a man devoid of any imagination. Well, you heard him. Get it shifted up the cottage. Oh, me? Well, you can't expect me to do it, can you? Not in my state of health. Yeah, but...
Don't you have a word to show what may be done? Have you never heard a way to find the sun? Tell me all that you may know.
Yeah, I shot the dog. It was worrying my pheasants.
Your pheasants, Mr. Langley?
That's right. As I'm sure Ashford must have told you, I've hired the shoot for the season. Well, there was no way I was going to have him frightened off the day before the shoot by some stupid mongrel.
Couldn't you have simply chased off the dog?
What? And run the risk of getting himself bitten? Don't really think that would have been very bright, Constable.
Only as I understand it, the owner of the dog was in the immediate vicinity, Mr. Langley.
Well, then he should have had the sense to keep him on a leash, shouldn't he?
But he also alleges that you tried to run him over in your Land Rover as you were leaving.
Oh, well, that's absolute nonsense.
Do you have a shotgun certificate, Mr. Langley?
Yeah, of course. We both do. Would you mind going to get them, my darling?
Of course.
A bad business, Bradley. If you see Arkwright, you tell him how sorry I am about his dog.
You know him well, do you, sir?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but he's lived in that cottage on the edge of the estate for years. He's a bit of a recluse, really, and something of a war hero, too.
So he's never given you any trouble, then?
Good Lord, no. I mean, he's a bit of a rough tarman, maybe, but all he's ever done is walk his dog on my land, and I'd no problem with that.
But Mr. Langley obviously had.
So it would seem.
I see that worried look upon your face. You've got your troubles, I've got mine. She's found somebody else to take.
It'll be Dr. Somerby on duty, will it?
Most certainly will, Vernon. She being the only doctor who works here.
You don't have a locum or anything, perhaps a male locum?
I'm afraid not. And what have you got against female doctors anyway? Not shy, are we?
No, it's just that, well, on this occasion I'd have preferred to have been seen by a male, that's all.
What's the problem?
I'd rather discuss it with the doctor, if you don't mind. It being of a personal nature.
18, 19, 20 years ago, I'd taken Sal to the party. I'd taken Sal to the party. I wouldn't let her dance, but I said her so. Oh, buck and go by the lamb, raise your back and press up, oh man. Oh, buck and go by the lamb, raise your back and press up, oh man. Me and my gal come walking down the road, the wind from her feet and knocking sugar in the gold. To dance, sugar in the gold and gold on the ground. You wanna get your sugar, gotta roll up.
Oh, that's nasty.
You should try sitting on it, Doctor. It's not one of life's most pleasurable experiences, I can tell you.
I'm sure. Well, I think I'm going to have to refer you to hospital.
Hospital?
Yeah. It's in a bit of an awkward place. And it'll need to be drained, of course.
Well, can't you do that?
Vernon, a boil this size needs special attention. But I'll see if I can get you admitted later today. In the meantime, we'll get you some painkillers. And you can get dressed.
Well, the saints go marching in. Yeah, when the saints go marching in, I tell you something gonna be. Hey, I'm gonna be in that number. Yeah, when the saints go marching in, and when old band goes swinging in, yeah, when a band goes swinging in, I tell you something gonna be. Hey, I'm gonna be in that number. Yeah, when a band goes swinging in.
I've spoken to Mr. Langley, and he admits he was the one that shot your dog.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there weren't any doubt about it.
Well, it seems he's rented the land for a shoot tomorrow. And he claims he did what he did because your dog was worrying the pheasants.
I wasn't within 100 yards of these pheasants, nor was Jake.
Well, that's your word against his, Mr. Arkwright.
And does he admit to trying to run me down?
Nope, he denies that.
It's not a lie.
Well, once again, Mr. Arkwright, that's your word against his.
Yeah. And him being stinking rich, you coppers prefer to take his word against mine, right?
Not this copper, Mr. Arkwright. And anyway, under the circumstances, there's nothing we can do about it. Unless you find another witness to substantiate your story.
At that time of the morning, up there. Well, what's new, eh?
Mr. Arkwright, word of advice. Let's not do anything stupid, shall we? So did Arkwright ever come in here?
Yeah, regular as clockwork once upon a time. And was chucked out just as regularly.
Really?
Yeah, he was a real hard man in his time, I can tell you. I never knew a man who could clear a bar as quickly as Saul could when he was in the mood, which he usually was after a few pints. Mind you, that's way back when I was still a copper.
I see.
Yeah, it was a real sad case, Saul.
How's that?
Because one day, after we'd locked him up once again for being drunk and disorderly, he went home and discovered his wife had had enough, packed her bags and left, without so much as a forwarding address. That was the last he heard of her. Till he heard from her lawyers, that is.
I see.
He was absolutely devoted to her. Devastated he was.
So what happened?
Well, he gave up drink, for starters. Hasn't touched a drop since, as far as I know. But since the divorce came through, he's been living like a hermit up there in that cottage. With just his dog for company.
So how do you think he's going to react to the dog being shot like that?
Well, like I said, he's a strange one, is Saul. Just keep a close eye on him.
What would old Ashfordley take for this place, do you think?
The family seat? It'd never sell.
Oh, I'd say that depends.
On what?
On what sort of financial difficulties he's in.
What makes you think he's in it?
Sylvia, if his lordship suddenly started taking in paying guests, he must be in some sort of financial difficulties.
I suppose I could just about see myself as lady of the manor.
To the manor born, darling. To the manor born. Oh,
Lord Ashfordley! Lord Ashfordley!
Miss Langley.
Any chance of any tea?
Of course. If you're going to go through the morning room, I'll see what I can arrange.
Oh, and it will be Earl Grey, will it?
What else, Mrs. Langley?
Arrested?
That's right.
What for?
Well, from what I can gather, laying waste to most of Aidensfield.
Bernard, is this some kind of joke?
Well, the police weren't laughing when they carted him off. They also managed to put one of their patrol cars off the road.
Where is he now?
Captain Irons, I should imagine, over in Ashfordley Neck. So if I was you, I'd get myself down there. Oh, and if sometime soon you could spare the time to shift your tank off my lawn, or rather forecourt.
So, Mr. Langley's in property, Mrs. Langley.
Not a day passes without him snapping up some little trifle or other. The way he's going, he'll end up owning half of London.
Really?
You've never thought of putting this place on the market, I suppose?
Oh, hardly, Mrs. Langley, no. But you're not from London yourself, presumably.
Barnsley, actually.
Ah.
I was an actress at the Hippodrome. You might have seen me.
No, I'm afraid not.
No. Of course, we've lived in town for years. There's nothing quite like London, I always feel. As Byron once said, if you're sick of London, you must be sick of life.
Tired of London, tired of life, yes. Dr. Johnson, actually.
Of course, the time we had at the garden party last year.
The garden party?
Buckingham Palace.
Ah, that one. Would you excuse me? Ashfordley, would you hold the line a moment, please? It's for Mr. Langley.
I'll take it.
And I'll leave you to it.
Hello? I'm afraid Mr. Langley isn't here at the moment. Can I help?
So where's the car at the moment?
At the garage, having the headlight repaired.
And this other vehicle?
Parked next to it. Not a scratch on it.
Presumably you breathalyzed him.
On the spot, Sarge.
And?
Clean as a whistle.
So where's this lunatic now?
In the interview room, Sarge.
Right. I take it you have insurance to drive this vehicle, do you? Can I
see your driving license, please? And you are the owner of this vehicle, are you, Mr. Stockwell?
Ah, well, no. Well, I mean, neither of us is, as such.
Neither of you?
Yeah, neither me nor Mr. Vernon. Well, it's not being paid for.
Vernon Scripps, I presume?
Well, it was him that said, get that home. Well, he couldn't leave it outside his brother's funeral parlour. What, in case people thought we'd been invaded. So I got it started, and then it takes off, and I can't stop it.
And just what would you and Mr. Scripps be wanting with an old army half-track?
Oh, well, that's our new business venture.
Trashing villages, you mean?
No. Tours of the moors. In the back, like.
Really? And you would be driving this vehicle, would you? On these jolly jaunts?
Oh, aye, yeah. I mean, when I get the hang of it. You know.
I hear you've got a pheasant shoot here tomorrow. That's right. And you'll be looking for beaters then. We can always do with another couple. Right. Has he been charged with anything yet, or what?
No, not more than 20 separate offences so far, ranging from forcing a police car off the road to vandalising a telephone box.
Right, Mr. Stockwell, you can go for now, but it goes without saying you'll be hearing from us again just as soon as we've completed our inquiries, as of course will you, Mr. Scripps.
Me? What am I supposed to have done? I was at the doctor's.
Well, as I understand it, you were the one who left him in charge of this vehicle, when he plainly had a blind idea how to control it.
All I said was get it home, not drive round in it like Aidensfield's answer to Godzilla.
As I said, Mr. Scripps, you'll be hearing from us.
Aren't our policemen wonderful?
Oh, good to know we're appreciated, Vernon.
Come on, Rommel.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's very good to see you. Did you have a good drive? Everything all right? Just go take your stuff in and put it in the hall. Right, good to see you, yeah. Hello, mate. How you doing? Very good to see you. Let's go and take your stuff in the other in the hall there, yeah. The rest of the party should be along in the next couple of hours, Ashfordley. If we could keep a weather eye open for them.
Of course.
Yeah.
We will wait at your gate, hoping like the clouds.
How long will they keep you in?
Oh, only a couple of days.
You have made a will, have you?
Bernard, I'm having a boil, Lanced. It's not a brain transplant.
Anaesthetic can be funny stuff, you know. That's why they only use it when they have to.
I'm only having a local one. You know where that's going.
Well, I suppose it'll be all right. Any road up, I'd best be off. See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Bernard, do you know, you've really cheered me up. You should take up hospital visiting professionally. Oh. Oh.
What I love about here... No, what I love, I just love all this gorgeous air, you know. No, thanks, love, mate. 60 birds, that's all. Excuse me a minute. Geezer in the black cap, man. Get rid of him, would you? Sorry about it. What you been up to then?
Sleeps on the way. This little bird that somebody sent. Light and bright and feathered sky blue. So graceful the sun shines through. This little bird. Oh, yeah. He's
not the easiest man I've ever met, but he's got quite a good eye.
That somebody sent. He flies so high up in the sky.
What's going on? Oliver, where's all this darn smoke coming from?
He's been shot! Oliver! He's been shot! Don't just stop him! Call an ambulance! Get an ambulance! Oliver! What happened? Oh, no.
Who are you?
My name's Reed. I'm Lord Ashfordley's gamekeeper.
And where's the rest of the shooting party?
Back up at the hall. Pretty shaken up.
Right, Bellamy. Get yourself over to the hall, make it clear nobody's to leave until I've had a chance to talk to them.
Right, Sarge. Sarge?
A smoke bomb.
There's at least another half dozen spread around the area, wired to go off simultaneously by someone who obviously knew what he was doing.
Oliver!
Right, sir. We have your address and telephone number if we need to get in touch again.
So does that mean I can go?
It does.
And about time, too, if you don't mind me saying so.
We may be investigating an attempted murder here, sir.
Well, I didn't shoot him.
Then you've nothing to worry about, have you? Is that the last of them?
Yes, Sarge.
So what do you think?
Well, I suppose any one of them could have had it in for Langley. Business is business and pretty cutthroat at their sort of level, I'd imagine.
Come in.
Well, some good news anyway.
Yes?
I've just had Langley's wife on the phone. Seems the wound isn't half as serious as it first looked. Just some pellets to the shoulder. He should be out in a couple of days.
Well, thank heaven for that.
Now then, Mr. Langley, how about a nice cup of tea?
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Can you make that too, nurse?
Sister, And how are you feeling, Mr. Scripps?
Deeply relieved now it's all behind me.
Yes, Mr. Scripps.
Hello. Vernon Scripps. Feel free to call me Vernon, everyone else does.
Oliver Langley.
Oh, not from these parts, Oliver, by the accent.
No, I live in London, actually.
What are you up in Yorkshire for? Business or pleasure?
Pleasure, principally. Well, that was the idea. Only, as you can see, it didn't quite work out like that.
Obviously not.
Oliver, darling, how are you? Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on, Sylvia. Take more than an old shotgun to finish your Oliver off, eh? That was my wife, Sylvia.
I gathered as much. Very pleased to meet you, Mrs. Langley. Vernon Scripps.
Oh, yes.
It's about the incident this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Something's happened that might have a bearing.
Go on.
Involving Saul Arkwright, the one whose dog Langley shot.
She walks, she moves so fine, like a flamingo. Crimson dress that clings so tight, she's out of reach and out of sight.
So you're by way of being in business for yourself then, Oliver?
Well, yeah, investment mostly.
Down in London?
No, we operate out of the Channel Islands mostly.
Oh. Only I'm something of an entrepreneur myself, you know.
Really?
Oh, yes. In fact, my associate and I are on the point of setting up a potentially lucrative deal at the moment.
Oh, yeah?
Tours of the Yorkshire moors. Or rather, the more inaccessible parts of it.
Oh, I see, yeah.
If it works out, the plan is to cover the whole of the north of England.
Yeah, we must have a talk about it sometime, Vernon.
Oh, all right, Ollie.
Ollie!
Pinky!
How are you, lovey?
Oh, I survive. Couple of days I'll be as good as new and twice as frisky.
I drove over the minute I heard about it. Whatever happened?
Yeah, will you tell me? It was like El Alamein when those smoke bombs went off.
Smoke bombs?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you poor thing. It sounds awful.
Oh, Pinky Parky. They broke the mould when they made her, I can tell you.
I'll bet. Right, well, I'll leave you to it. I'll wander down to the day room.
Yeah, thanks, Vernon.
Oh, Ollie, Ollie, Ollie.
Can I help you, Constable?
Well, you can tell me about these, for starters. Would you like to hand me over that shotgun, Mr. Arkwright? Before you get yourself into any more trouble.
Now, there you go again. Giving me advice.
I like the last bit, but not this.
So where's my half-track now? What's up at the house? Well, who got it up there for you?
Well, I did. I got the hang of it now. There's nothing to it, really. If you, don't panic.
Well, just try and remember that next time you take it out.
So, when are you coming home, then?
Well, tomorrow, supposedly. But between you and me, I'm on the verge of getting all the financial backing we need for our little project. So I might have to delay my departure for a bit.
Right then, Mr. Arkwright. Can you tell us what these smoke bombs were doing in your shed?
Perhaps somebody planted them.
And why would anyone want to do that?
To set me up.
But you know what they are, even though you've never seen them before.
I was a commando once.
Which perhaps explains why these bombs were so expertly wound up.
Can I offer you some more of that advice you so obviously resent, Mr. Arkwright?
Feel free.
Don't make the mistake of thinking we're stupid.
All right, so I planted the bombs. But he shot my dog. And it was obvious you lot were going to do naught about it. All I wanted to do was to wreck the party he'd planned for his posh London friends. I had nothing to do with the shooting.
Although you do possess a shotgun.
But everybody does in the country.
So it was just a coincidence, was it? That he happened to get shot the minute after these smoke bombs went off.
If I intended to shoot him, I wouldn't have winged him.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
A brave soldier.
My little bit on the side. When I'm up north, anyway. Only, not a word to the wife, eh?
Have you charged him, then?
Kept him in overnight for further questioning.
Open and shut case, it seems to me.
Really? You think so?
Well, don't you?
It's all a bit too elaborate somehow, Oscar. I mean, why smoke bombs? If you're going to shoot someone, you want a clear line of fire.
But if you want to make it look like a hunting accident...
Well, if that was the idea, why volunteer to be a beater? Beaters don't carry guns. Much better, surely, to keep a low profile and take him out from some place of concealment.
That's true. Never thought of that. I must be slipping.
So how much is this trip going to cost us, then?
Oh, no, it's not going to cost you anything. It's like what they call a dry run, just to, like, advertise the service, like.
And where would you take us in it?
Well, just round the moors.
Well, as long as you're sure you can drive the thing, David. You're not going to go demolishing any more phone boxes.
How about it, then?
Go on, then.
Yeah.
I just don't feel right in myself, like.
Could be a bit of a reaction. Although I wouldn't have thought that was likely, to be honest. We'll take a couple of blood tests, see what they turn up.
Thank you.
Mind you, it will mean keeping you in an extra night, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, into every life. Now then, Ollie, as I was saying about this tourism scheme of mine.
Oh, that, yeah.
Hey, our film gun is new. Thanks.
Confrontation you had with Mr. Arkwright before the shoot began, Mr. Reed, what do you say?
I just told him to clear off.
And why exactly did you do that, Reed? I mean, since you took him on as a beater in the first place.
On Mr. Langley's orders, my lord. They'd already had the run-in with the dog Mr. Langley shot, and he told me he didn't want him anywhere near the place.
And did he clear off?
The last I saw of him, before the smoke bombs went off, he was heading for those trees over there.
And did he have any kind of firearm in his hands?
If he did, I didn't see it.
Which means unless he moved like lightning, there's simply no way he could have got to the right-hand side of Mr. Langley before the shot was fired and get a shot off.
I suppose not, no.
Yet Mr. Langley took the hit in his right shoulder.
Right.
So who was standing to the right-hand side of Mr. Langley when this incident occurred?
Well, now you come to mention it. Good Lord.
Where did you think they're going in that thing?
So much for the dry run, eh? David?
So, Ollie, what do you reckon then?
I'm sorry.
About coming in with us?
Well, you don't seriously think I'd be interested in putting money into a crack-brain scheme like that, do you? I mean, see the Morse from the back of a tank. I don't think I've ever heard anything more ridiculous in my whole life. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
There you are, you naughty boy.
Pinky. Here, you wouldn't fancy taking a quick stroll down to the day room, would you, Vern?
Oh. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't, actually. Oh. In fact, I'm very happy where I am, thanks very much.
Why don't we go down to the day room, Ollie?
Yeah, why don't we, eh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, Ollie hurt him.
No.
Yeah.
You need to be fit and well.
Oh, I know. I'll be all right. I'll be fine. Yeah, don't worry.
Sure?
No. Yeah.
Good.
So where's Mrs. Langley at the moment, my lord?
Gone to hospital to visit her husband, apparently.
Right, I'd better get there.
OK, Bradley.
I don't suppose you would happen to know where my husband might be at this moment, would you?
Well, Mrs. Langley, you could just try the day room.
Where is that?
Just at the end of the corridor on the right.
Right.
My pleasure.
It's all right.
Who's this?
What do you mean, who's this?
I know exactly who you are. You look as common as you sound.
I can explain.
Get off his lap.
Get off my lap.
What? Constable, please. Quickly. Quickly, it's in the day room.
I know you are, you common little bitch, Madam Langley.
Ladies, please. Ladies, you...
Mrs. Langley!
It was you who shot your husband, wasn't it, Mrs. Langley?
And why on earth should I want to shoot my own husband?
How about serial adultery? Or was that fight you had in the hospital because you and his female companion didn't like the colour of each other's lipstick?
That slut. She wasn't the first, you know, or the 101st. And when she even had the nerve to ring up and ask to speak to him at the hall. But what you have to understand, Sergeant, is I only did what I did for love of that man. This was a crime passionnel.
Quite possibly, Mrs. Langley. Unfortunately for you, though, this happens to be Yorkshire and not Montmartre.
But you just wait till I get him in court. I'll take him for every rotten bob he's got.
Yes, and I can think of one or two Sunday newspapers who might be very interested in hearing how he made his millions in the first place.
Is that so, Mrs. Langley?
You all right, then? Oh, aye. Now then, David, how's my half-track?
Ah, yes, oh, I've been meaning to tell you about that.
Hey, caught you in the act. Only on medical advice.
Medical advice?
My dentist was appalled when he heard I'd been eating boiled sweets.
You promised Mrs. V you'd give up smoking.
Which I did.
Alf.
But I never promised I wouldn't start again. Mark Twain gave up regularly. On an average of once a day, he reckoned.
No,
Naughty.
By the way, I thought you said he didn't come in here.
Well, I suggested he might drop in. Somebody wanted to see him.
Who?
Ah, here he comes.
So, listen, the gardener's dog had a litter a while ago, and, well, yeah, I had a word with him. I thought you might like one.